Welcome to the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Each week we will bring you inspiring tips, stories, and ideas to help you be all that you can be, discovering your greatness. Featuring Donna Tashton. Donna is a transformational life and health coach, a highly sought-after public speaker, and the founder of Vibrant Living. She has helped hundreds find a better life, free of stress and living the greatness they were truly designed for. And now, your host, Donna Tashton.
Hello. This is Donna Tashton with Vibrant Living, and I am happy to have Alissa Cairns with me here today. And this is podcast number 38. I want to welcome you all, and I am excited to learn about Alyssa's story and have her share with you today. Alyssa, say hello.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Donna.
Awesome. So tell us about you. What are you doing with all your spare time?
Where to start? And what is that? What is spare time? Most recently, since almost a year ago, so since February of 2019, I have been working on and opening Grand Rapids' first female-focused co-working space with on-site childcare called Mom Hive.
I've looked at your stuff. It looks amazing.
Thank you. It is born out of love. We can talk a little bit more about how exactly I ended up here. But it's a very cool thing to be an industry disruptor, right? We're the only one of our kind. And every day is exciting. It's an adventure because we're rewriting the rules as we go. Have you worked in a co-working space before?
I haven't.
So co-working is the idea that entrepreneurs or individuals who are able to work remotely from their job, basically any job you can do from a laptop, co-working spaces are a shared office space where everyone can hop in and work together and have that office culture even though their business isn't located there.
I love that idea. And the childcare makes it women who want to start something a great opportunity too.
Oh my gosh, childcare is so expensive and it's hard to coordinate. So we basically said, let's include childcare in our building and let the women bring their kids, set them with another adult for 4 hours, and then go downstairs, drink a hot cup of coffee, and get to work.
Awesome. And that is all with some type of membership, I suppose?
Yes, we're based on a membership, the membership platform. Yeah, so you pay monthly and then you have a certain number of days that you can plan because moms need to plan. Yes. We need to add structure to our weeks. Yes. So both for entrepreneurs and for women who work for a company, this is giving them more time both to spend on their job as well as the freedom of time with their kids after they get their work taken care of.
You can get a lot done in 4 hours if you're not interrupted.
Tell me about it. We had people ask is 4 hours enough? And all the moms in the room were like, you don't know how much I can get done in 4 hours if I don't have a 2-year-old hanging on me.
That is so true.
Moms are some of the most productive and efficient workers you'll ever find.
That is right. So tell us about your story.
Yeah, I mentioned to Donna earlier, but I think it's really fascinating that at 34, I have landed in a career as a co-founder and a CEO of a business that I couldn't have imagined at 18. It didn't even exist. This industry didn't exist when I graduated high school and was looking at education plans and career choices. And so I think if anybody can learn anything from my experience, is just that trust the process and keep going. So I have an English degree I have a theology minor, which doesn't really set you up for very many jobs. But I loved college, and I was very involved. And so then but I didn't want to be a writer. So I had an English degree. So I actually found myself, I loved being a camp counselor, and I was an orientation leader in college. And so I found myself looking at higher education graduate programs. Moved to Chicago, worked downtown Chicago in fashion retail at Water Tower, as well as worked at Starbucks at one of the busiest Starbucks locations in Lincoln Park, and put myself through a master's degree in higher education administration. So I was working in food service, I was working in fashion and design, I was working in customer service, commuting in the city, which I love Chicago. Huge part of my heart stays there. And then my degree, I work in higher education. So 2 years of school and then 3.5 years in my career were spent working with college students and, working on strategic degree planning and career counseling. And I was a faculty trainer for a while. I worked in data strategy and analysis for the City Colleges of Chicago downtown. And I loved my career. I was good at it. But I also was pregnant with my first child when I was hired for my first job. I went on a 6-week maternity leave, quote maternity leave. I did not get the whole thing. And I had only been in my very first real job after grad school for 4 weeks. Wow. So I struggled as a new mom in that career. I had a terrible time pumping when I did go back to work because I didn't have an office. I was the first mom at the organization in 12 years, I think.
Wow.
And they didn't have a pumping room set up. They had no idea of how to support me. Nobody asked me if I was doing okay. I was expected to figure it out because I was lucky to have a good job. That was kind of the thoughts. The culture. Right. Now, I could have sued for the way that they treated me, right. But I didn't know. I was new. I was a new mom. Nobody was there to help me.
Right.
And so I just figured it out. And when it came time to discuss our family planning, my husband and I said, we don't even know how to have 2 kids downtown Chicago. 1 is hard enough. And so our family choices actually led us to move to Grand Rapids, Michigan, which we love it here. But again, when we drove the U-Haul out of Chicago, I was pregnant with baby 2.
Oh my.
So moving, renovating, relocating, and I looked at my husband and I said, I can't job search pregnant again. That was awful.
Right.
And so at that point in time, I became a statistic. Of the 98% of women who plan to stay in their careers and be a mom, half of them off-ramp. And that means they either decrease their hours, they leave their full-time careers, or they quit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it at the time. I felt like I was making a choice. But as I've done more and more research about moms in the workplace, societally, women feel as if the only choice is to leave work because childcare is so expensive and it's so stressful to manage being a mom and working.
Right. It is.
It's not really a choice. Like, you survive.
Yeah. It's having 2 jobs.
It's 2 jobs. It's legitimate 2 jobs. So in 2015, when we moved to Michigan, I tried to be a stay-at-home mom. I failed. I failed hard and fast. Within a month of my son being born, I had already bought a website and started growing an online interior design business. Because I'm not good at not doing anything. I really wanted to make money, and I wanted to do something fun and get paid for it. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of stumbled along the work at home, stay at home, online business life for 2.5 years. And again, like trying to give myself direction, but like very much living in that, oh, is this an expensive hobby, or am I ever going to make a salary doing this life? Yeah. And I mean, I know that I'm not alone in that. And just when I was ready to start taking local clients, I was starting to grow a reputation in Grand Rapids of, people who had worked with me and liked my design work. My son was 2.5, and he was literally, imagine this, like I'm on the couch with my laptop on my lap, and my 2.5-year-old Gavin is sitting on my shoulders, like leaning over my head,
yes.
pulling my eyeballs up so I would look at him and give him kisses. And I was like trying to invoice a client at the same time. And I shouted across the house, and I was like, Mark, my husband, I was like, we can't do this anymore. I love my children, but I also wanted to work, and I wanted to do good work. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the like really long wandering story of what got me from college to where I am now. Every single one of those little jobs, every 2 or 3 year experience, kind of informed my perspective in this advocacy for working moms, right? I see myself as an advocate for working moms probably before I see myself as a business founder. And, I have this privilege and this great responsibility now to try to create a system that's better than what I had, and to make it not a fake choice to leave your job. Like, you should have a real choice to mom and be a professional at the same time. And societally, women feel like they don't have a choice. They're leaving the workforce. And then we look at like C-suite and board level leadership, and they're like, oh, where's all the women?
Right.
They're all at home. Because, I mean, you force them to go home and stay with their kids because families want children. And then when they're 40, 45, and they're trying to on-ramp back into their career, they've missed out on 15 very valuable years of leadership building.
Right.
And then they get discriminated against when they apply for jobs because they have a gap on their resume.
Right.
And they're like, oh, stay-at-home mom, that doesn't belong on your resume. You weren't building any skills. Please. Remember what we said about a mom can get done in 4 hours? They're the best project managers out there.
So where is Mom Hive located?
So Mom Hive is in Easttown neighborhood in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
Our current space is used to be a house, but it's now an office building, and we have 3 rooms for co-working and kind of set up in a house style. We have, bottomless coffee and Wi-Fi and printing. And then upstairs, we have staff members who play with the kiddos each morning.
Awesome.
So
that sounds amazing.
It really is. It's finally a place where you feel validated for your role as a mom and as a professional. And so I would just encourage anybody to seek out those places where you don't have to put your different role on the shelf. You shouldn't have to take off your mom hat when you go to work if you don't want to. Yeah. So we're hoping to create a world where everybody has that space where you feel comfortable and supported in reaching your professional goals. And you can hang out with your kids at lunchtime.
Awesome. So that is a great story. And I love the way that our life has this thread that goes through our life, and that everything matters. Everything inputs us to where we are, whether it's good stuff or the difficult. If you had not had that difficult experience at that one job, you wouldn't have had all this ideas of what it should be like.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of it. What are some people and books or something that has led you to all of this? You must have some favorite authors or.
Oh, question. So many books. I think, well, when I'm a researcher, right? So all that experience in higher education, I always go to the experts and start like digging in and figuring out ways to do things. And so like there is literature out there about how to open a co-working space. I read all of it. I really dove into all, it hasn't been around very long, but there are experts out there. So I dove into all that. I really like Kate Northrup's book, Do Less, and just talking about like using feminine energy and feminine rhythms of how we deal with energy forces in our life, how women operate on a monthly cycle instead of a 24-hour cycle. That has kind of given me permission to like ease into those periods of growth and the periods where you just kind of want to stay in bed all day, and give myself permission to just kind of function in a way that works better. Take a look at my bookshelf over there. I read The One Thing, and that was really interesting, about letting yourself just focus on getting one thing done instead of trying to do all of them at the same time.
That's one of my favorite too.
I will say that I've, as I like work more and more in how to empower women in their careers, I'm starting to recognize some very masculine norms, right? Like there are very masculine styles of coaching and masculine styles of success and business building. And then you have this counterculture of female leaders who are saying like, hold on, don't force me into that if there's another way that works better for me. And kind of leaning into the quieter, a little bit more patient, a little bit more cyclical, more social, right? More informal patterns of business. And so, for example, have you ever been to a BNI meeting? Right? Like a business networking group. It's very masculine. And I'm around women all day now. And when I went to one of those, like bristles up, like I was so uncomfortable. And so I would also encourage women to like seek out places where they feel validated and not always feel like you have to force yourself to play by someone else's rules. So like at Mom Hive, we run networking events, but they are slower. They're more chatty. They give everyone has a structure and no one feels put on the spot, but like we run it based on ways that women like to connect instead of pitching yourself in a very masculine format. So it's just something I've noticed is that a lot of those business and leadership books, I kind of take them with a grain of salt now because a lot of them are written by men. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that works for you. I don't know if that works for me.
Right. I love that. I've read, I don't know if it was Kate's book, but I've read something similar about giving ourselves permission to work in the flow that we're in. And I love just the statement, giving myself permission, because there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves by all this different things that we don't give ourselves permission just to be in the moment that we're in, whether we're crying or whether we're feeling great and we're going to tackle the world.
Tackle the world. Well, and even here at Mom Hive, we're giving women permission to hustle for 4 hours. Like I'm giving you space to knock out tasks for your job. And then when you go home, you can give yourself permission to be present with your kids and put your phone down. Right. So creating that physical space and like hours on your calendar is so freeing because you're validating. Yeah, I need to do both, but I can't do both at the same time anymore. Like, I can't invoice a client while my toddler is sitting on my shoulder. I can't.
What is the best way if people want to learn more to connect with you?
Our website is momhivegr.com.
Okay.
momhivegr for Grand Rapids.com. And you can send a message through there, or the email is hello@momhubgr.com, and that goes straight to me.
Awesome. Well, Alyssa, I want to thank you so much for sharing this resource with women, and hopefully we can let more women know about it. I want to thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much just for listening and for giving so many women the chance to tell their story and share what all the things that they're good at.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Wasn't Alyssa's story and what she has done with Mom Hive just wonderful? To have a space that you can get work done, whether it is your own business or you're working from home at a job, either way, this is an incredible idea that is long overdue. I want to invite you to learn more about a mastermind that I am beginning for those who are in the entrepreneur idea. They have a dream, they have an idea that they want to do, and they're not quite sure how to proceed, or they want to take it to the next level. You can visit my website at iVibrantLiving.com, click on programs, and take a look at Maximize Your Brilliance. My purpose is to help you live to your fullest potential, and I want to invite you to check out Maximize Your Brilliance so you can shine bright and share your gifts with the world. The link will also be included with this podcast. Until next time, this is Donna saying live and love vibrantly.
Thank you for joining us on this powerful episode of the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Please share this with others who might enjoy it. For more info on Donna Tashjian or to contact her, visit iVibrantLiving.com.